2023 was a great year for board games. We had just under 350 plays, or if not just over. We don't always watch our plays. And we have our top 20 and 10 games of 2023. But in this video, we have top 10 thematic games of 2023.
Yes, we're going to talk about theme and really talk about it from a primarily Eurogamers standpoint. So, this is not a list of the games where we really felt like we were going out fighting dragons because the story that was written was really, all that sort of thing. What we're going to talk about here is games typically in the more Euro-mechanical sort of space, which went with a theme and then really found a way to make the mechanics match that theme.
Correct.
Like, it wasn't, we decided we want a game like this and then it's just a worker placement with that pasted on. It's, this is my theme and all these mechanics kind of actually feel like that theme.
Exactly. And all these games we could get it from review copy, we get it from things that we need to do sponsored videos for. But in this video, this is unpaid and this is completely just our opinion. If you enjoy our videos, if you like to see our top games of 2023, I've linked this below. And if you want to share your top theme, top theme games of 2023, please let us know in the comments. Be happy to have a look at the games. I'll probably Google it or, BGG it. And here we go. Games number 10 is The Wolves by Pandasaurus Games.
Yes, possibly a late 22, but certainly into 2023. It is a tactical area control, area influence game involving wolf packs. And really the hook of this game from a thematic standpoint is that you are wolves and you're moving around with alpha wolves and wolf packs and
getting resources.
Yeah, it's all about that sort of wolf behavior.
Wolf and getting a bit of area control. And being alpha wolf has got certain benefits, so it's just a little bit stronger than other workers, I should say.
Yeah, it builds it up in a way where the alphas will scare off other pack wolves from other players, but other pack wolves can be together and you can build dens and things. So it all fits together. You can howl at each other to try to turn them to your pack. So it all does feel very wolfy, and I think it fits it very well.
And it's also a good game. All of these games that we're going to mention, we having fun throughout playing these games. Yes. Game number 9 is Hegemony. I don't know, that's how I say it. It might be said different ways.
I think someone said we pronounced it wrong, and we probably pronounced it. It is in the dictionary. It's allowed.
Okay, it's allowed section.
We'll go with
Hegemony.
Not a word that enters my day-to-day vocabulary terribly often.
I said, honestly, if I want to know how to pronounce something, I'll go to Tarrant. Tarrant is a walking dictionary. Dictionary has that, right? I hardly see dictionary, so I have Tarrant here. So anyway, hegemony or whatever it is that you pronounce it is a highly asymmetric game, hence also very thematic.
Yeah, I reckon a lot of people would probably expect this to be a little bit higher, actually. It is a game where you split up into 4 groups, and you've got the workers, and you've got the businesses, and then the middle-class small businesses, and then the government, and they're all kind of doing things that interlock with each other. Workers are trying to encourage they're trying to get jobs in the businesses, encourage the businesses to hire them, go on strike for more wages and stuff like that. Small businesses work part way in between, and then the government kind of sits over the top and works out, tries to keep things even and then do their own stuff.
It's really, really thematic. You do feel like the government, you set some rules.
They've got agendas which are kind of private things to go and chase.
Yeah. And then the workers trying to find a job. Another faction's actually providing jobs, in the form of cards. But it's really, really thematic. I think we enjoy playing this. It did take a while for us to learn, to teach, to you know, because of these high asymmetric things like roots, almost, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
You've got about as much in common as the root factions do.
Yeah, that's hegemony. Game number 8 is Septima. This game is about us being or trying to be a good witch and avoiding the angry crowds, and also healing, getting ingredients and healing everyone.
Yeah, and that all works really well with the theme of the witch that you're trying to be. The points all work very consistently with that. The way you're trying to play the game is to be not suspicious about your actions, so you can raise suspicion and it causes witch trials and hunters to come and chase you. And all of that feels very much like this sort of medieval witch village type of theme.
Very. All the artworks, all the actions that you do, like you do chanting, you healing, you brewing, you moving, obviously moving is standard, collecting ingredients, and the tracks that feels very witchy.
Yeah, I do think it does. It does really, once you've got the mechanisms down pat, 'cause it's a pretty heavy game, but once you've got that down pat, it does feel like you're a witch working with other witches, building up covens and trying to do things that a magnanimous witch would do.
Yes, and also trying to avoid suspicions from common people.
Yes. This game always seems to end up at number 8 on our lists. It really should be 7, but...
Why is that?
Because it's Sept.
Oh! Ooh, I just learned something new today. Thanks, Tarrant. Now, the actual number 7 is Deadly Dodgers.
Yes. Little card drafting game.
Yes.
And I guess thematically there's no reason it has to be card drafting, but this is a game about social climbing dowagers.
I love the theme. It's seriously, I was just like laughing all through all the cards.
Yes, it's a very it's macabre. So you begin with not much, and you work through husbands and dispense with them through various murderous means. And once the estate comes in, you then use that as a dowry to go to the next husband and move on.
Yep.
So not a theme for everyone.
No,
but it does
no.
really work with the... Yeah, it's a different way of looking at an investment game, I suppose.
It is. Yes, you also invest on things. You invest on husbands, technically, and then when you want to terminate your investment, you have to worry about, the more husband you bury. Oh my God, it sounds really bad. And the more husbands you bury, then the more penalty you have for the next one.
Yes, it becomes, I forget the term actually, it's not suspicion, it's kind of scandal, basically,
yes.
And you get more scandal, the more suspicious the death is.
There's also scandal cards, and that, it probably give you more scandals, which is good, but also do that. But there are other means to lower your suspicions or scandals.
And there is also business investment in here. You can invest in shipping, and that will
real estate,
make your husband more valuable make your husband's estate more valuable.
Yes. Well, you can actually invest on your husband while they're alive.
Yep.
Like enroll them in some sort of education and they have more salary, and then until they reach the top and bye-bye. It's really fun.
Yes. No, they've certainly thought you can tell that as they went for this theme and tried to make it work, all of the things that click together really fit with the theme.
Number 6 is Art Society. This is also cute. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it's probably blurry. There you go. Yeah? This is kind of like there's 2 layers of this. So we're hiding behind this. We are collecting arts on our walls and putting pieces and trying to score the most points.
Yeah, tile placement games, they're not known for being super thematic things. They tend to just be pattern matching things. And this one is to some sort of extent as well. But there's an auction that feels very art auctioneering. And the cards that you bid with are paddles, which are very cute. And you use each paddle once per game, so you've got to work out when you're going to go high and low. And then the way you're putting things together on the wall feels... Feels thematic as well. You're trying to get things with the same frames but different styles next to each other. And then you fill up all the little spaces with knickknacks. And it's got this nice mechanism as well where if you can't hang something on the wall, you then go and swap it with first the butler holds it until you run out of space. And then you go and swap it with the gallery or with essentially the world of other collectors, which is kind of what you would do as well. It's not really... Yeah, you get a tile placement games where you get a tile and then you can't place it or you have to put it somewhere bad. This one, it does it in a way that fits the theme. So I think it all, for something that still, it still is a tile placement game, but it all clicks together in a way that really fits the art theme they're going for. Yeah,
and also the matching tile and then the leftover tiles that you can get at the end or near the end of the game to add to your collection. It's like, secondhand.
And this also has an economic element, so art that you're not collecting starts to become more valuable. It's that mini rails tax mechanism type of thing, and it represents the fickle world of art ownership and scarcity as well.
Indeed. Number 5 is Evacuation. This is by Vladimir Suchi. It's a heavy Euro game, and the theme is you are migrating from one dying planet to another planet to survive.
Yes, and many may not agree, but I do feel that all the mechanisms, it's quite a heavy Euro game with a few different sorts of mechanisms going on, but I think everything that's fit in here really does suit that evacuation theme. The biggest thing and the newest mechanism I've seen that suits it is that you've got old world and new world, and it's very clear about when you produce resources on one, you can only spend them on one unless you get a spaceship that transports them between. So, the only game that's done anything similar to that is on Mars, where you've got the shuttle that moves your worker back and forward. But this one, it's moving the resources back and forward and the stuff you're building. And all your points really come from evacuating the old world, which reduces your production there, and then placing on the new world and building stuff over there, building production. So it all really fits very well with the theme. Certainly in the race mode.
Yep. I do really like the population that you can generate. A clone, sorry, that's the word. You can clone people in the new planet if you haven't finished moving your populations in the new one. Yeah. So the actions are thematic. As you mentioned earlier, you're moving ships. The new one, you're producing here, you're producing there. You want to make your populations happy by producing or giving them stadium or other buildings and placing. There's also a bit of a tile placement as well in the new world where you're placing it and you can score some good points there.
Yeah, I think that's the bit that starts to get less thematic. If you're just doing the race mode, it's all about that evacuation. It feels like it. If you start to do the points mode of the game and add lots of extra objectives, then it gives you that Euro thing where it's like, well, this is something you can do, so this is how you get points for it, and so is this. So I think it gets less thematic as you go along that line. But still, the way it all fits together, the way you've got the tokens that move between the planets that tell you what you can do where and when, it all fits.
I see what you mean, but who are you racing with, Tarrant? There's like multiple dying planets.
No, we're all evacuating from the same planet. We could all work together, couldn't we?
Well, this is not a cooperative game. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe there's a little bit of... maybe that's an undertone. It's not in the rulebook, but maybe you're actually also trying to take this opportunity to dominate the new world. Be the superpower upon arrival.
Another hidden agenda in here. Maybe it's one of the objectives cards.
Maybe. Maybe we can add a battle expansion where you get... No.
Maybe. There's like battle arena buildings that I don't know.
That's true.
I'm not Suchi. I definitely do not know what I'm talking about when it comes to game design. But anyway, if you find this video useful, it would be really helpful if you can hit the like button. Let us know what you think. Let us know what thematic games you played. And let's move on to the next one. Flying at number 4 is Sky Team. Say flying. Get it?
Yes, or watching others fly.
Watching others fly. So fly together. So Sky Team is an SN release, and this is a 2-player game where we have limited communication and we play our dice onto the middle common area to try to fly properly and then reach the destination and not crash.
Yes, and you've got to do all the sorts of things that would be associated with landing a plane. So going the right speed so you arrive at the right time, dropping your elevations so you have both those things arrive at the right time, because you have to reach a certain point in 3 dimensions in a certain amount of time. You've got to slow down the plane, so you start going fast and then you slow down as you get in. You've got to talk to aircraft traffic control to make sure there's no traffic in the way, keep the plane level, all that sort of thing.
Yep. Well, the least thematic is probably the limited communication, you thought, but then again, there are times where you don't communicate properly with others. I don't know.
I reckon the least thematic is the coffee, actually. It's just you can spend an action on coffee, and coffee gives you that hit to manipulate your dice.
No, I disagree. I think that's very thematic. I think coffee makes you like, ooh, okay, I can do this correctly.
But I don't think a pilot is going to be drinking 5 cups of coffee in the approach to the
I don't know. Well, I thought pilot might, especially if they're flying like a long distance from, I don't know, Melbourne to Los Angeles, for example.
Yeah, but you're not going to have 5 coffees from the point you hit San Diego until you get to Los Angeles.
Is that how you're going to drink coffee? You just...
Lots of espresso.
Well, it's still, overall, it's a very thematic game. Enjoy this. It's a cooperative game.
I think the thing that is most thematic here, and the reason I really put it up here, is that this game has been very much designed by airport nerds in the same way that Tony Boydell is a railway nerd.
Hey, Tony.
And made a whole bunch of Snowdonia expansions just based on famous railways. This has scenarios that have all these different airports, and they have all the foibles and quirks and extra challenges that those airports really have.
Absolutely.
And it goes all the way up to Paro Airport, which is famously it's the airport in Bhutan. It's like in the middle of a valley in the Himalayas. You've got to almost thread the needle to get into it. There's only 6 pilots who are legally allowed to land there or something like that. And there's clearly a lot of
stories,
airport nerd love that's poured into the
yeah.
scenarios, and I think that's what's good.
Working at number 3, I'm thematic to the title, right? Santa's Workshop.
Yes, I'll just hold it on this angle so you get the title. And then
yeah, that's right.
Oops, there we go.
Oh, look at this. This is about elves working, well, it's cooperatively, but to a certain degree, competitively, but to a certain degree, a little cooperative.
It feels thematically cooperative. So this it was released around Christmas, and it's a game that is elves making toys for Santa ahead of Christmas. And it's got 2 modes. It's got a beginner mode and an advanced mode. And for me, it's the beginner mode that feels really thematic, because it's a very simple
worker
placement where you've got your team of elves and you go out to the location and pick up the materials for all of the toys, and you start assembling them. But in the basic version, every one of those spaces is set up in a helpful way, so that if you go there after someone else, you get more resources but give the first player points.
Yes.
And I just really enjoy the fact that that's how elves would work. Even if they had their own little cliques and teams that were trying to show how good they were to Santa, they're still all one team, and they're still helping each other in that way, giving other people more resources but getting glory for it. So it's almost like a corporate ladder sort of thing in a really cute little way.
It's true. It's really cute game. Components are amazing. They have Santa's sled as well. I mean, it's only just like a card box. It doesn't really do
it serves no game function other than
yes.
being a discard pile. But
that's right.
Santa inspects the toys every 3rd round and gives you extra points if you've got the most. There's also a reindeer collecting thing where there's 9.
Yes.
There's the 9 classic reindeer, and you've got to collect a set of different reindeer, which makes sense because if you had 2 duplicate
Rudolph's
reindeer, then that doesn't make physical sense. So.
I mean, technically you can collect more than of the same one, but just don't get as many points usually. You get extra benefits as well by collecting the reindeers. But yeah, overall very, very thematic, and not just thematic, it's a very fun game.
Yes.
Sitting at number 2 is the Fox Experiment, based on true story.
Yes, we had wolves before, now we have foxes. So this is a game based on the experiment of breeding friendlier foxes. And it was an experiment in Russia back in the 50s, I think it was, where they took the foxes that had the most domesticated and pet-like behaviours and then bred those, and over many generations the foxes overall became more domesticable.
It is.
And so this...
It has whiteboard markers as the cards. Well, they are dice rolls.
Yeah, I think this... It does something, much like evacuation with the track. This does something new that really fits what they were trying to do. And that is, there's decks of parent foxes that you can draft from, and then you never know quite what you're going to get when you breed two foxes, because you roll dice and that tells you what their behaviours are going to be. And then you mark those on whiteboard markers and you put those foxes into the pool for the next generation, because they're the ones that were just born, they're the ones that will breed next.
They're the one that's going to be drafted next round.
Yes. So that is, that's really how it links together. The points come from getting foxes that are particularly friendly and that meet certain scientific researchers. This is where it gets a bit more, typical Euro. It's like, all right, I've got to match my card, I've got to keep my patrons happy. All of that makes thematic sense without being earth-shattering stuff. But really the core mechanism here
is that,
does something totally new to fit the theme they were going for.
There's also the engine build on board, which is, they're trying to get thematic, but not that thematic, but it's necessary as a Euro game. There's one variant that you can use it or not, is that when you draft that, if you take two of the cards from the same family or the same player, I should say, you will get penalized because you
get an inbreeding.
So you just get less tokens out of it.
Yeah, which is a nice thematic touch. And it kind of worked. I liked how that played in the game as well, because you actually get some pretty good benefits and specializations by having an inbreeding pair. So having that penalty is both necessary to counterbalance that and fits the theme really well.
Yeah, really nice game. The Fox Experiment. And finally, last but not least, number 1 is Frostpunk.
Last and most, in fact.
Last and most. Well, it's still not least. It's technically still true.
That is true. So I'm always very impressed with what Adam Kopinski is able to do, did with Nemesis, did with Frostpunk, in bringing theme and things that could be very, Ameritrashy, and make them have really great Euro-y mechanisms and things like that. And there's so much of how Frostpunk makes its game work that it feels very natural. Like there's 8 upkeep phases in this game, and they all make sense. You've got the big generator that you're firing with coal, so you've got to keep making coal, and if you put too much in, it explodes, and that hurts you. You've got to manage morale and sickness and hunger and all that sort of thing.
And exploration as well. You got to go and get things from the cold, icy world.
Yeah, people get sick if they go too far into a place that's cold, and the way that mechanism works is it's sensible, it's balanced, it gives you things you can focus on.
And thematic.
It gets colder across the course of the game, so it matches the theme perfectly.
Matches perfectly. He's just doing such a great job on that. Yep. I tell you, like Nemesis also is not usually it's not in a Euro game. I do enjoy different type of games. Mostly Euro, there are other ones as well, but Nemesis is such a fun game.
Yep. I think the one mechanism I like the most in Frostpunk is the morning-evening cards, because you get a card that gives you there's a whole deck of like morning cards, which gives you a decision that you make in the morning, and that might cause something to happen, but it will add an evening card to a deck that only has a couple of cards. And at the end of each round, that'll be shuffled and you'll draw one, and it will be the consequence of one of your previous actions.
That's right, yeah.
And so you make a random choice at the start, but you get a natural consequence in
your decision
an indeterminate amount of time, but in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that
smart.
elsewhere, and it's really clever.
Yeah.
And the game is almost impossible to beat, which, I don't know, based on how bleak it seems, feels really thematic.
We haven't actually played the video game yet. So, I don't know, maybe you have. Let us know. Is it feels like the board games feel like the video games? Thanks for watching. Bye.